some acting, right?
Yeah, yeah, I still do some acting if I'm asked. I try to stay behind the camera, but
Yeah,
if
yeah.
I'm asked, I'll do it.
Okay,
Cool,
cool,
man.
cool, man,
So
cool.
just so you know, the show is pretty much just a conversation. It's very easy going. The
Okay.
first 5 to 10 minutes is going to be me and Larry doing some banter back and forth. Then we're going to segue into you. At the end of the show, when I say remember, support New Life Village, don't hang up. We like to do a wrap up with the guest. Plus, we need you to record a bumper for the show.
Hmm.
Okay.
All right, you got any questions?
No, let's go.
Let's
All
do
right,
it.
cool. You know, what, give me 1 minute. I gotta take care of something, and I'll be right back.
Okay. All right.
Sure thing.
Cool, man. Cool. So what keeps you busy right now? Are you working at like a production house?
Yeah, so I do work. I'm a cinematographer, editor, and compositor with a production company. I'm not allowed to say the name of the company
Yeah.
publicly,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
but it's you've probably heard of it.
That's
I
cool.
just can't say it if I want
Yeah,
to keep
yeah.
my job.
Yeah, no,
Um,
keep your job. Yeah,
yeah,
that's pretty cool though. I mean, and you're making it work, so that's
making
very
it work.
good.
Yeah, yeah. Between that and then my own production company, and I'm in pre-pro on a feature right now.
Really?
Yeah, yeah. We got a
Very cool.
crowdfunding campaign running right now and everything.
Oh, good. So we could talk about that.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Everything. Okay.
All right,
And
and I am
and
back.
like, obviously we'll kind of let it go wherever the conversation wants to go, but anything you want to bring up and talk about, please feel free to.
Sure, sure
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
All right, cool. And 5, 4. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Something Something podcast. My name is Eric Kasloff, and with me, as always, is Larry Sands. How's it going, Larry?
I'm very good, Eric. Very good, man. How are you?
Man, we are freezing our butts off here in Jersey. We were supposed to get another snowstorm over the weekend, but thankfully it didn't happen. So yeah,
Nice.
very
Nice.
cold. And
Yeah.
we're doing this podcast at night,
I know,
which is
which
a
is
little
different.
different for me.
Yeah.
I feel like you didn't get the joke, but I was texting you. We're doing a podcast at night, which, if you know SpongeBob, is a SpongeBob reference.
I know SpongeBob, but I didn't get that reference. No, sir.
Well,
Not
you
one
played
bit.
SpongeBob for years, Larry. I
I
thought
know.
you would be rooted in the culture
In
of
the culture.
SpongeBob.
I know. Tell me about it. Tell me about it, man. Tell me about it.
So,
Hey,
Larry,
uh-huh.
Hillsborough Road, man, the music is going great on it. I
Yeah.
think we might have 60 minutes worth of music this week. So
Yeah. Yeah.
the continuous year journey is coming close to an end.
I know, and we're gonna have the composer on um in the next couple weeks to talk about, what he's got going on and how he kind of operates, and then obviously when the movie comes out, we'll have him on to talk about the movie and stuff.
Yeah, yeah,
But yeah, I mean since we're talking about music a little bit before we segue into our filmmaking guest, another filmmaker, man, it's good.
yeah.
I love it. I love it. You watch the Grammys, right?
Oh, yeah.
And what do you think? I mean, do you ever get inspired by watching the Grammys or
Not anymore because they just don't put rock anymore. They don't
oh,
care. And again, I love pop music. I
yeah.
My favorite genre of music is pop punk. I
Right,
have
right.
no, I mean, yeah, I'm wearing a Misfits shirt as we do this, but pop punk is my favorite. And, they don't care about rock anymore. They do it before the actual show, so I don't care anymore.
I
But the
know, man.
Ozzy thing was cool.
The Aussie thing was very cool. I wish, and we talked earlier the today about like they should have done like a small little Aussie montage, kind of like how they did D'Angelo.
Yeah, yeah,
You
it should
know,
have been
that
a
would have been
melody.
nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And Youngblood should have jumped
Mhm.
up because he's really into Ozzy, and they
Yeah,
all loved him. So yeah,
yeah,
but I don't know, man. I mean, do you ever get inspired by watching any kind of award show or anything
I
like
mean,
that?
I'll admit, yeah, the Oscars was
Yeah.
cool. Like, Spike Jones winning a best screenplay was great for me because this is how far back my Spike Jones fandom goes. Not a lot of people know this. He directed skateboard videos
Oh,
when
really?
he was coming up. Yeah, and he made some of the best skateboard videos ever. Till today, people talk about them. So
That's cool.
seeing him win an Oscar was like, man, the my heart and soul, which was skateboarding,
Right.
is doing this. So Larry, TikTok is the gift that it's either a gift or a curse.
Right.
Social media in general, really, YouTube, Instagram,
Yeah.
about 10 days ago, maybe a little more, I'm flipping through and I land on an independent filmmaker who's doing something I'm actually going to be launching pretty soon. Not an Indiegogo, but he was sort of bringing people with him through the process of trying to get his next feature film made, which
Yeah.
is what we're in the process of doing right now. So Larry, tell everybody about our guest.
Yes, actually, I'm super excited going through um, Thomas's stuff, like his website and IMDb. Um, I'm really excited because not only is he a filmmaker, he was a child actor, which is cool because we get to talk to him about growing up in the acting spotlight and then transitioning. So let's go ahead
Kind
and
of worked on a movie with some director we people might have heard of.
who's that?
Well,
Ah, no, everybody, welcome. Help me welcome everybody to this episode. Thomas Tulak, welcome to the show.
Hi, everybody. Thanks
thanks
for
for
having
coming
me.
on tonight, man.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. What I had asked Eric, how he like found you and discovered you and through TikTok. I don't think that it's kind of common, right, Eric and Thomas, for filmmakers now, or obviously musicians, a big thing. Um, but is it becoming more common for filmmakers to get on and talk about their craft?
Oh, very much so. Yeah. We're kind of in, especially in the indie space, we're kind of in a world now where you can't just make the thing, you have to make the making of the thing
Right,
so
right.
that you can build up your own audience for the thing.
Right, right. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
it's it's weird because we actually had Eric, who was our guest from Stranger Things.
Tristan, I could never pronounce his
Oh,
last name.
Spahan, Tristan Spahan,
Tristan Spahan,
and I
number
think,
two from Stranger Things.
yeah, yeah. And he pretty much said the same thing, where I think we're in this culture and I don't think it's going to go away, where I think creatives, filmmakers in particular, are in the driver's seat. They're not really waiting, I think, for a gatekeeper. Um and I think that's really inspiring in of itself, because it kind of separates everybody that wants to do stuff and doesn't want to do stuff, if that makes sense.
100%. We're living in the golden age of indie filmmaking right now. And we're not bound by gatekeepers anymore like we used to be, because the barrier for entry is so low. Even setting aside the fact that you've got a camera on your phone in your pocket right now, we're living
Right.
in the golden age of camera technology. You can get a really, really good cinema camera for not very much money, and you can just go and make your movie right now for the cost of dinner, basically. So
Yeah,
Pre-
there's no more excuses. There's nothing between you and making your movie besides the drive to get up and do it. Really.
right, right,
yeah,
right.
it's so crazy times. I think we all might be looking at your background, Thomas. I think we're all close in age. like in the late 90s and early 2000s when, indie film was still a studio thing,
Mm-hmm.
really, you still needed a lot of money
Mm-hmm.
to make your movie. That Canon camera, for the XLR was really a game changer for a
Hmm.
lot of people, and that just became the standard. Now that's again a 5-year-old cell phone will
Right.
shoot better than that,
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
100%. And you,
Yeah.
like I said, there's so many companies. I could rattle off a list of companies right now that are making great quality cinema cameras for affordable everyday prices. Like you can get a really good camera for not very much, and it'll be better than anything that they would have shot features on, back in the 80s or 90s. Like the camera on your phone is better quality than the camera that Alfred Hitchcock used.
Right.
So,
or the
Yeah. Yeah.
computers they use to go to the moon.
yeah, yeah. And part of the reason why it's so affordable now is because we're not shooting on film anymore.
Yeah,
That's part of the reason why it was so expensive before, because of the film stock. But now you got digital cameras, you reuse the same memory card 1,000 times.
exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. And obviously, before we started recording, we were talking, Eric and I, about DaVinci Resolve and Premiere
Hmm.
Pro.
Yeah.
And I mean, DaVinci Resolve, it's free,
Yeah,
you
man.
know? I
It
mean,
is free, and it is a very powerful video editor, and it is a better color grading program than even Premiere. Like it's very, very
Yeah,
powerful.
that's
it's
what
the
Eric was saying.
industry
Yeah.
standard right now. And like we were saying, what I like about it is everything is one program. What
Mm-hmm.
Adobe, which I love, that's what I use. You still, if you want to do your effect shot, you got to link it
Mm-hmm.
to After Effects, do
Yep.
your shot, then link it back. So the only thing that's holding you back from making your movie, and please listen to me, everyone, good sound. You're
Uh,
saving money on a camera, you're using free software, pay the extra money for good sound because I
Mm-hmm.
can't tell you how many times I found stuff on Tubi and it's like, this looks cool. Or, man, this looks horrible. It's going to make me feel better. But
Mm-hmm.
if I can't hear you, I got to turn the volume up. I'm changing the channel.
100%. Bad
yeah.
sound is unforgivable. You can
Yeah.
forgive bad images, bad
Hmm.
video,
Oh, yeah,
but
yeah.
bad sound, no.
Yeah.
You,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
shoot on whatever camera. My whole mantra is the best camera to use is the one that you have access to.
Amen.
Shoot on whatever camera. I started shooting. The first camera that I ever started on in 2009 was the built-in webcam on my MacBook. I kid
Holy
you not. That's
cow.
what I started making content with.
Oh, my
Wow.
And so
goodness.
I'm telling you, use whatever camera that you have, and even if it's your phone, and then take the money you would have spent on that and invest it in quality sound, and
Yeah.
that'll make all the difference in the world.
Yeah, very much, very much. This is already a great conversation. We haven't even gotten into
We're
to what you
already in the
do.
inside baseball part of it. So tell us, Thomas, when did you fall in love with movies? What was the movie that made it happen?
Oh man, so we're gonna start way, way, way back when I was a kid. So I played the youngest Lost Boy in the movie Hook,
Wow.
directed by Steven Spielberg, starring Robin Williams, Dustin Hoffman, Julia Roberts, Bob Hoskins, and so on.
Oh man.
And the time I spent on the set of that film watching Steven Spielberg work, watching Robin Williams work, that is the reason why I do what I do today.
Wow.
I knew then, I was 6 years old, and I knew then I wanted to dedicate my life to making movies that make people laugh. I wanted
Wow.
to
Wow.
do what those two men did, and that's what I do. So I'm going to say that movie. That's the movie that got me into it.
Dude,
Wow.
what was it like? I mean, even at such a young age, were you able to understand, oh my God, I'm on a Steven Spielberg movie with Robin Williams?
100% I did not know the gravity of what I was doing. It wasn't until much later when I went to the table read, I had no idea who was who or what was what, and I
Wow.
just waltzed in there and pounding my fists on the table and making noise and like just I'm just there to have fun.
Yeah,
And then I
yeah.
go to that set, and the set was actually built. There was no green screen. That was all real. And so I'm
Unbelievable.
just running around and climbing the tree and jumping and playing like any 6-year-old little boy. I have no idea the gravity of what I was
Wow.
doing at the time.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's a
That's
great
awesome.
thing because if you knew, you would have just been a 6-year-old boy having fun on set.
Yeah, yeah, very well may be. Very
Yeah.
well may be. Yeah.
Yeah. What, and obviously this is like such a weird question. But oddly enough, maybe not oddly enough, we had Audrey Lynn Marie. She was in Five Nights at Freddy Part 2. She was the
Okay.
first girl that got killed, right, Eric?
Yeah, the opening
Yeah.
kill.
And like she's 13 and she sounded like she was a 26-year-old. Like because you know how, and these days I think it could be a lot different, I think, for a child actor as opposed to when you were doing it. I think, it's just the maturity and the things that they have to go through. I think actors in general have to go through a lot. And
Hmm.
kids, they don't get to grow up if they
Yeah.
stay in the business, you know?
Yeah, that's very true. That's part of the reason why I stepped away from it after only just 2 years. I wanted to just kind of have a normal childhood.
Yeah.
Because I,
Yeah.
I was on the set of that movie for 7 months. And
Oh,
during that
wow.
time, I wasn't going to school. I wasn't seeing my friends or anything like that. We had class on set. So my
Mhm.
school was in a trailer in the back of the set with 3 other students who were also actors in the film, because you have to maintain a certain GPA in order to keep your work permit if you're a minor, right? So we still had to
Mhm.
go to school, but I'm going to this
Right.
private school where it's 4 students to one teacher, in the back of the lot. And so,
Yeah.
Where was that filmed? Was it filmed in LA?
yeah, it was filmed in LA on 7 sound stages. I believe it was Sony Pictures Studios
Wow.
backlot.
Wow.
Wow. Wow. Um, so fast forward when you got back into, was it acting that you got into, or you wanted to do more of the filmmaking when you got back into it?
Yeah, no, I wanted to kind of be behind the camera more. I've done some acting as an adult, but I wanted to be the writer director. I wanted to be, calling the shots behind the camera. And so
Yeah,
I'll still act on occasion if I'm asked, but it's not something I'm actively pursuing. I'm more trying
that's
to be
cool.
behind the camera.
Yep, yep. And how is that going in terms, because I know you have several feature films under your belt.
Well, I have one feature film under my belt that I wrote and directed. I have several that I acted in, and a couple that I helped that I worked on as crew. But in terms of writer director, I have just the one.
Just
Um,
one.
but am currently in pre-production on what will be my second feature film as writer director. We actually have a crowdfunding campaign live up on Seed and Spark right now. Hintity hint hint.
Awesome. Yes, 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 yeah.
But I have been doing this now, producing stuff for man, more than 15 years. And so
Oh,
I have a
wow.
lot more than just short, or a lot more than features. I've got like 25 short films. I've got 3 web series, one that has over 300 episodes. I've
Wow.
Oh,
got I've crewed on so many other shorts or short form content that I've lost count.
Wow.
And so I've been doing it for long enough. You know, I
Yeah.
couldn't even tell you everything that I've worked on.
are
Yeah.
you self-taught or did you go to school?
I did go to school, but I think I can talk about this without giving away too many specifics. Anybody who's listening to this right now and is making that decision, trying to decide for themselves whether or not to go to film school, don't. Don't go to
Hmm.
film school. Go to
Hmm.
films. In the words of Quentin Tarantino, go to films, watch movies, learn by doing. Get a camera and go and make something. You'll learn more by making something than you ever did in film school.
Yeah.
And then if you go to film school, you're going to end up with a huge pile of debt. And so the best thing that I got out of film school was I did make some lifelong friends there. And I hear stories about people who made connections while in school that led to career paths. I have not known that to be the case,
Mm.
and I feel like that's more of a rarity. I made some friends, sure, but in terms of beyond that, I left there with just a mountain of debt, and it ended up not helping me the way that
Mm.
it should have.
Let
And
me let
go
me
ahead.
ask you because I know people that went to film school and they're very
I went to community college film
yeah,
school.
yeah,
They owe me
yeah.
money, so I have no debt.
Oh,
uh,
convenient, convenient.
Yeah,
um, how what's it like being in film school and they teach you all these things that when you get out of school and assuming you go into like a production company, they teach you all this stuff about the ins and out, I would think. But when you actually get out and you try to do that stuff, how hard or difficult or easy is it to when you get out of school and then you start figuring out, man, why am I doing all this stuff when I could just cut to the chase and yeah, I don't know. That's
Yeah,
like a
yeah,
weird question, but I think that when you learn, they teach you how to do it, and it's so, by the book. You get out and you try to do things by the book, and you work with maybe independent guys, and they're like, "Dude, why are you doing this?"
yeah, yeah. Very much the the world that you enter when you leave school and you try to be a part of that industry is very different than the world that they teach you about while you're in school. And they
Right.
do not teach you essential things. They do not teach you things that you need to know.
Mm,
They teach you a lot of like creative stuff, and they teach you some basic things,
mm-hmm.
but there are a lot of things that just didn't even get brought up. They don't teach you how to get the gigs in the first place.
yeah.
You know, sure, they taught me the basics of how to operate an NLE and how to edit, and basics of how to shape light for cinematography and things like that, and very basic simple stuff like not crossing the 180-degree line, when you're blocking your camera, stuff like that. But they didn't teach me how to properly set up a C stand. You know what I mean? Like there were
Oh,
some basic stuff that just doesn't get covered
yeah.
because it's, I don't want to say below the line, but just not on the radar of the film school. They're
Right.
focusing on let's teach you this, how to write and direct and all this, and there's so much more under that that just didn't even get brought up.
Right.
And so
Right.
I learned so much more just doing it on my own, even just in the indie space, just grabbing a camera and doing it,
Yeah. Yeah.
than I ever did in film school.
Yeah.
I created a lot of stuff by myself, just with me and a camera. And then I started directing things and getting a crew together, and the hands-on experience is way more valuable than years of schooling.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, and
Completely.
it's is it horrible to say? I get. I don't know. I mean, you look at so many things now, and I guess if you go to be an accountant, they teach you how to be an accountant and do all the numbers and
Mm-hmm.
stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But I think being a creative and going to school for it, I think there's a lot of book stuff that they put into it, and then it's like you said, you get out and you're just like, what is that thing?
Yeah.
It's a light
Yeah,
stand. It's like, what do you
Yeah.
do with it?
Yeah.
exactly. My
Exactly.
thing is,
Yeah.
until film school offers a class that's what do you do when you're doing your short film and your actress and her mom come and they forgot her wardrobe for that day, so you have to change every scene to be her in bed covered in a blanket because they don't have their wardrobe. When they offer that class
Mm-hmm.
and how not to have a panic attack in front
Mm-hmm.
of everybody, then go to film school when
There. Yep.
that's on the class list.
Yep. Absolutely. The thing about the film industry, it is unique, unlike any other industry, in that there is no clear path in. If you want to be a doctor, you go to medical school, graduate, you become a doctor. There is no such path for filmmaking. There's
Yeah,
no such path for directing or any of that. You want to be a director, you have to find your own way in. And
Yeah.
that usually means doing it on your own for free and or
Yeah.
paying to do it first.
Right.
And so, and the thing is that when a producer is looking to produce a feature film or a show or whatever it is, it's not like they're going to put out a job opening for a director. You're never
Right.
going to see a
Right.
job post saying director wanted for this big major blockbuster feature film. That doesn't happen. They
Yeah.
look to hire people they know, they look to hire people they've worked with that they can count on to do the job and do it well. And they have a short list of people that they're going to pull from. And
Mhm.
what film school does not teach you is how to get on that list.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. 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 And when you started doing, I mean, this is a really a unique opportunity to talk to somebody who has run the gamut of obviously being a child actor, but even more than that is going through film school, understanding you went through film school, you got what you got, but then coming out and knowing you have to work even harder, and it really, you work harder but you work smarter, you figure out how to work smarter, because
yeah,
once you start doing stuff, every little, and this is one of the things that I think you're absolutely right on, Thomas, is you have to just start creating to learn who you are, how you operate, what you do want to do more of, what you don't want to do more of,
Mm-hmm.
right?
yeah,
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, 100%. And the more you do it, the better you'll get at it. The more you'll understand.
Yeah.
So in 2009, I started a YouTube channel, and I what the kind of videos that I made was more of like, in my head, it was more of like a scripted comedy variety show. It
Mm-hmm.
was
okay,
basically just me and a camera, but I scripted every episode. I scripted every little thing. It was vlog style in that I was talking to a camera, but it was all scripted comedy. And what I did was every week I put out a new video, a new episode, but I challenged myself to make a better video than the one I made last week.
Mm-hmm.
So every
oh,
week I'm getting a little better. In 6 months, there's a noticeable difference. By a
yeah,
year in, I dare say my videos started getting pretty entertaining. If you go back and look at the beginning, yeah, it was hard. It's hard to watch.
Yeah,
But if you go back and look at 2 or 3 years in, they start getting pretty good. I'm proud of a lot of the work that I did there. I did
that's
that
cool.
every week from 2009 to 2015. And so
Wow.
I've got over 300 of these
Yeah,
episodes, I call them,
oh,
yeah, yeah,
that are, it's all scripted comedy, but I cut my teeth so hard on that, developed
yeah,
my skills, developed the ability to write comedy, to plan it, to shoot it, to edit it, to put it all together, to take what's in my head and put it up on the screen every week for 6 years.
wow,
And that's what I'm saying. Because of that, when I then stepped out onto a set with a crew and I'm going to direct the day, I know exactly what I'm going to do. I know exactly
wow,
how it's going to turn out.
yeah,
I have all the confidence in the world because I developed over 6 years that skill set.
yeah.
And
Actually,
that doing
I,
that taught me way more than
I,
film school.
I was gonna, I mean, just hearing you talk about that, you rattled off, I don't know how many skill sets that you yourself can confidently say, I do this, I do this, I do
Mm-hmm.
this, I do this, I do this. And I think because of the indie climate now, even when you're looking to work with somebody like a production company or any kind of business, they want and they need somebody that they hire to wear numerous hats.
Absolutely,
yeah,
they do. Yep. 100%, because they don't want to pay salary for each different hat.
Right.
you know
Yeah.
they
exactly.
Yeah.
want they want one person that could do all the different things.
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
and I always say, who was it, Someone said, a smarter man than me said, if you are a creative person and you can learn to be technical, you will be unstoppable.
Robert Rodriguez
Thank
in
you. That's it.
Rebel Without a Crew.
Hmm.
His the person
Yeah.
he worked with at the photo lab taught him that, and he passed it on.
Yep. And I 110,000% agree with that statement. Because
Wow.
if you're a creative person, but you don't understand how to pick up a camera, how to shoot a thing, how to edit it, you're always going to be reliant upon the people that have that skill set.
Hmm.
And those people have projects of their own to shoot. Those
Right.
people have a line out the door of people that want to work with them to shoot their projects. You
Hmm.
want to make your thing, develop the skills. Go make your
Right.
thing. Do it yourself. Learn to
Man.
do it yourself, and you'll never be reliant on anyone else.
Exactly, and that's why I think editing is such an important skill to learn. Because if
100%.
you just want to work in the film industry, there's always work for editors, whether it
Always
be
work for editors. Oh, yeah.
shorts, commercials, wedding videos, anything. Editing is the most important skill to learn.
Before I landed the job that I have now at a production company, whose name I'm not allowed to say, side note, before I landed that
Oh,
job, I freelanced.
Yeah.
And I got way more, the most clients that I got as a freelancer were for editing, far more than anything else. I could also, do cinematography or directing or writing. I've been hired to direct short films. And all kinds of content. I've been hired to write it. I've been hired to shoot it. But more than anything was the editing. But that's the thing. If you can see a project from development through to completion, you
Hmm.
are among the most valuable.
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah,
What would you tell somebody that's listening to this that I think fear of being this sounds bad, but it's not. Fear of failure holds a lot of people back. Um
yeah.
how can you get over the fear of failure if and this is like a crazy question because you have to start somewhere, but how do you go about forgiving yourself for starting out and going, oh man, that doesn't look good? It's kind of like how you started your YouTube, stuff.
Mm-hmm.
How do you get beyond yourself, getting out of your head and looking at it as an objectively, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like stepping away. How do you do that?
So this quote I attribute to me. The last one was Robert Rodriguez. This one's mine. I always say the only true failure is when you quit.
Oh.
The only
Mm,
true failure is when you
Oh.
stop trying.
Ooh.
Until then, you just haven't made it yet.
Mm.
You're never going to succeed if you don't try. You miss 100% of the shots you don't take.
yeah,
Mhm.
So understand that your first thing is not going to be good. Your second thing's probably not going to be good. But do them and get them out of the way because the third thing will be better.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
just keep
Wow.
at it and keep going and keep going.
Wow.
Eventually, the more you do it, the better you'll be. But if you don't do it, it won't get done and you'll never reach the potential you could have reached if you just kept going.
Wow. Wow. Which brings us to your feature film
Yeah.
that you have going, and is it the one that Eric saw you do on TikTok? Was
Mhm.
that the who done it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's called Who Dun 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 It.
yeah.
Oh, that's okay. Very cool.
I
Very cool.
started watching it, but I wasn't feeling well. But man, when I saw, I'm gonna be finishing it tonight. Dude, it reminds me so much of Clue. I
Thank you.
love that so much, man.
That
That's
was
awesome.
uh that was the selling point when I tried to convince people to work on it with me. I told them, imagine if Mel Brooks remade
Oh.
Clue with the cast of Monty Python. That's how I sold it
Oh.
to people.
Wow,
Side
man.
note,
Oh,
how excited are we all for the new Spaceballs?
Ooh,
oh.
Oh my
Yeah. Oh
Me,
goodness,
yeah. Oh
dude.
yeah.
me.
Oh yeah.
Spaceballs is one of my all-time favorite movies, and there's so much of that movie, not only in my first feature, but just in my writing and in my DNA. There's just so much of that movie in that inspires me. Oh my goodness, are you kidding?
I think just Mel Brooks overall, we'll do a tangent. He is just an absolute comedic genius
Oh, full
who would
on.
never
Oh.
be able to get a movie like Blazing Saddles. Oh
Oh
my
yeah.
God.
But
If
yeah.
you
Classic.
play if you played that for a bunch of teenagers today,
Oh my
their
God.
heads would explode
Yeah.
and they would cry and pull their hair out.
Oh, and wait, before we go on, did you say we could watch your movie?
Yeah, my first feature's on Tubi right now.
He's here promoting his second feature, Larry.
Yeah,
Guess what I'm watching tonight after
do
we
it.
get off? Oh
Do
my God.
it.
And then we
Yeah,
gotta, okay, dude, we gotta look. I don't know how we're doing this because there's so many things that we're covering. We are definitely gonna have you back on just to
Okay,
throw
but
out there.
before we get
sure.
to who
Dude,
done it,
yeah,
I always saw Clue as a kid on VHS with all the multiple endings.
Hmm.
I didn't know till a few years ago that each theater had a different ending.
Yeah,
I didn't
yeah.
know about that. I always thought the multiple endings and the was this because of the game. You know, it could
wow.
end either way, but I didn't know about that till recently.
Yeah, when it was originally released in theaters, there was three separate endings, and every theater had a different ending. So you could go to one theater and see it with one ending, and then go to the theater up the block and see a completely different ending. They
Unbelievable.
put the three endings together when they released it for home video on
Yeah,
VHS and DVD. But
Wow.
origin on the original theatrical release, each it was separate, different endings for different theaters, which
Oh
is genius,
man.
right?
yeah.
Yeah.
And as an experience of watching that film with the three endings, that's one of the reasons that's another big influence for me, because it opens the door of the imagination. It
Yeah,
to me it's like the statement saying that the film, it's not about the ending. It doesn't matter who the killer is. It's about
exactly.
the journey getting
Yeah,
there.
Yeah,
It's
right.
about what happens along the way,
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know?
Dude, that's like Lord of the Rings, right? It's
Yeah,
about the
exactly.
journey and it's not
Exactly.
necessarily how, okay. Dude, you're blowing my mind. You're so this is a great episode again. Just to reiterate that you're so open and honest about the
yeah,
industry and about your craft, and you're able to look at it in a way where you're conquering it. If I could boldly say that, you're doing what other people go, hey, I want to do this, and then tomorrow comes and they're like, and it's not a bad thing. It's just
Hmm.
if you want to do it, just do it. And
Just
you
do
are
it.
the prime example, I
Thank
think.
you.
You're
Thank
so
you.
tell
welcome.
us
You're
about
welcome.
how you got who done it made.
Okay. So, first I'm going to answer a question you asked earlier because it's related. I had a very a strong full circle moment with this. So, uh, going back to when I was young, I don't remember how old I was, but I saw the movie Dogma by Kevin Smith,
Okay, yeah,
and
good movie.
that
Tell me.
movie, that movie changed the way I look at movies. That
Mm,
movie opened my mind to the reality that a movie can be anything you want. There are no rules. You're limited
mm,
only by your imagination. So that
mm.
movie is another one I list on my biggest influences. So that was my first Kevin Smith movie. After
Really?
that, I started following his career and watched all of his other movies and
So
started
sorry,
listening
sorry, sorry.
to,
So
yeah, yeah,
your Slackers was his dogma.
yes,
Okay, okay,
yes.
okay.
Wow. Wow.
So I started watching all of his movies and listening to his podcasts. And then we fast forward to like 2016, 2017, somewhere in there. And I've got a first draft of the script for my what would become my first feature, and I'm listening to his podcast, and I go to a taping of his he does a podcast called Hollywood Babylon that he
Yeah.
does live in front of an audience. I go to a taping of that, and I get a chance to ask him a question. So I ask Kevin Smith, how do you get a movie made? And his response is advice that I have been championing and will share with anyone, and am going to just take it to my grave, to the forever. His response was, just go make it. The cavalry's not coming. There's no big Hollywood executive waiting to make your movie. There's no one going to come and help you do it. If you don't do it, it doesn't get done.
Wow.
That's what he said. So, taking that advice, I just went and did it.
Wow.
I spent years putting together a team. So this is one of the things that I like to encourage people to do. I spent several years putting together a team of people who we are all there to help each other with each
We
other's
talk about
projects.
that. Me and Larry
Yeah.
always say finding your film
Yeah.
family.
Find your film family,
Exactly.
exactly.
And
Find your
dude, we
crew.
are brothers, man. We just
Yes.
haven't met till today.
There you go. There you go. If you can get a team of people and you help them on their things, they'll help you on your things. Everybody's trying to create, be there and show up and help them. Then when you have a thing, they help you. A rising tide raises all
Oh
ships.
shit. Yeah.
So what happened was I spent years creating this team. We're all helping each other. And then I go to this team of people and I say, hey, I've got a feature film script. Do you want to make it with me? They all said, yeah, of course. So next thing I know, myself and several members of this team, we're all throwing our own money into one big pot. And so together, combined from like 6 or 8 different people, we combined our money into a total of $10,000, and that was the budget for the film.
Wow.
And we just went and did it. We didn't wait for permission. We didn't wait for a green light. We just made it. That's all there is to it, man.
Yeah. Yeah.
$10,000, and what do we need to feed people? We need props. We need a location. We found a DP with a camera. Like, just go do it, you know?
Yeah.
Yes, I did the lion's share of the work. There's like 5 or 6 jobs I did that I am credited for. There's like 20 that I didn't bother crediting myself with. Because there's a film festival, I forget what it's called, but they give out the Dunce Award to any filmmaker who does more than 5 jobs on their film, and I could have won that award like 3 times over. But the movie got made.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
I don't care about stocking the craft table, or if the sound guy doesn't show up one day, then I'm holding the boom pole, or I don't, whatever. You do what needs to get done.
Yeah.
And on top of the directing, and I was also the editor and the colorist, on top of all that, throw your ego aside. I'm not above doing anything. Whatever has to be done, you know? The movie got made.
Yeah.
And then, keeping it going with the whole full circle moment, as we finish production, we're beginning post-production, and what happens but Kevin Smith announces that he's going to do his first film festival.
Yeah, at the theater here.
At his theater in Jersey. So he makes that announcement, and we kick post-production into high gear so we could get it done in time. And we submitted our film to Kevin Smith's festival the last week before submissions closed.
Oh my goodness.
Then a little bit later, I go to another filming of Hollywood Babylon just so that I could hear him talk about the festival. And what happens is he calls me up on stage and announces to everyone in the audience that my film got accepted into his festival.
Wow, man.
So my first feature film premiered at Kevin Smith's inaugural film festival.
Wow.
So myself, my wife, and several of my cast and crew flew out to Jersey, and we got to watch our feature film on the big screen with Kevin Smith in his theater. And that's why I brought the whole thing up. That's the full circle moment right there. He inspired it from the beginning. He inspired me to go make it. And then I'm watching it in his theater with him.
So,
And
you
then we
know,
got
what
to meet him after, got a picture taken and the whole bit. And that's just, I don't know that it would have happened, but without his inspiration, but you know, that's my whole thing. That's why I'm saying, just go make it. You want to do it, man, just go do it. There's literally nothing stopping you.
I love that. As I'm a kid from New Jersey who's
Yeah.
a filmmaker and has a podcast, so put it together who's one of my biggest inspirations. So it's, it's not that
Totally.
hard to do the math, you know,
Yeah.
it's not that hard.
It's not
But
hard at all.
that's such a beautiful story to hear. That again, you know, we always talk about living life without a net, working
Uh-huh.
without a net, and that's what you did. And I'm glad when you told the story that you didn't go to crowdfunding right away for that one because with that, you're still waiting for a green light in a lot of ways.
Mm-hmm.
Sure, you know, with certain crowdfunding sites, except for Kickstarter, that it's all or nothing. We used Indiegogo for
Yeah.
ours, you know.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
There you get whatever you get you keeps. So
Yeah.
you can still go forward, but I just love that you built this film family who all believed in each other and
Hmm.
believed in your crazy vision for this movie. And
Mm-hmm.
man, what I love so much about the movie is the way you break the fourth wall in some scenes, man. Like that's we
Thank you.
didn't have enough budget for that. That felt
Mm-hmm.
like a Mel Brooks bit.
It's
Oh.
very much from the Mel Brooks that's in my DNA. So the film is a murder mystery comedy, and one of the characters is me as the director of the film and also a character in the film.
I love it.
But of course, I don't play myself. I cast a much better looking actor to play me. But he's playing me. So in the film, he is there as a guest at the dinner party, as a suspect in the murder mystery, and as the director of the film. So at any given time, he could be talking to the other cast members, both as a fellow cast member and as their director.
Wow.
And then the premise is they're going to play this murder mystery game, but somebody is killed who wasn't supposed to be, he's not the person who was supposed to be killed. And so now there's a murder happening, an actual murder, and the director's there trying to keep it all together because that's not what was in the script.
That's so great, man.
And so, yeah, man, we don't just break the fourth wall, we tear that sucker down.
Wow, man, that sounds like so much fun. And I know now what everybody's going to be doing after they listen to this episode.
And
Because,
again, it's on
b-
Tubi, everybody. So it's
uh,
gonna if you
yeah.
don't get someone's Tubi email and password, there's something wrong with you. You really need to reconsider your life choices. So it's free, everybody, and it's a
Yeah,
good
Tubi's free.
movie,
You don't need
man.
to sign up. You can
I
just go
love
on
it.
and just go to it. It's there. You don't got to sign up for an account or anything.
Hot
The
dog.
other thing I loved about the movie so much is how cozy it felt.
Oh, thank
Mm.
you.
You know, that's what again, 90% of what I watch is horror, and then the
Hmm.
other 10 is Hallmark. So
Okay.
I love cozy stuff. You know,
Oh,
your
good.
movie just felt like, man, put a nice warm blanket on and drink some coffee and enjoy this goofball comedy,
You
man.
I
know,
love
I
it.
appreciate that so much. I feel like it's my life's mission to make people laugh, and
Mm.
especially because we made that movie just coming out of COVID, and so it was released into a post-COVID world when the real world sucks enough. We don't
Right.
need our movies to be heavy, you know.
Yeah,
We
yeah.
need we need laughter is the best medicine. So we need escape into something that's cozy, that's fun, that'll make you laugh. You know, who was it that said laughter is the best medicine? That's probably why my dad died of tuberculosis. Hey-oh!
I gotta look that up. That's hilarious.
No, but I wholeheartedly believe, man. Yeah, the laughter is the best medicine. Like you don't need to have everything be dreary and heavy all the time. It's okay
Right.
to have fun.
Yeah.
You
You
know,
know,
that's
it.
exactly my. Sorry, Lee. Go on. Then I'll say
Oh
it.
no, I was just gonna say that it sounds weird to have to say that because now everything it seems like you have to have like I not to have this sound bad, a purpose to make it. You
Hmm.
just, whereas, back in the 90s and early 2000s, you didn't have to have a rhyme or reason. You just
Hmm.
made it because you wanted to make
Yeah.
people laugh, you
Yep.
wanted to make them, do whatever.
Hmm.
And I think just from hearing you talk about your your movie, that's what it is, and that's what it's supposed to do. But it also speaks to a bigger way that you want to make it your life's mission
Hmm.
is to make people laugh, make
Yeah.
make people feel good, because I think when you come when you come from a place, back in the early 2000s or 90s, and you grow up with that and you want to get back to that, you want
Hmm.
to, there, and you're absolutely right, there's
And
so
the
much stuff
pendulum
going on.
is swinging the other
Yeah,
way.
I think so.
Y2K fashion is
Mm-hmm.
popular again. iPod modding is a huge thing right now.
Mm-hmm.
People are wanting to get out of the algorithm and to get
Right.
back to like entertainment wise. I mean, I think everything now, even if you don't feel this way, it's all blah, blah, blah political statement.
Right. Yeah.
You feel
Yeah.
that you have to comment on society, man. And
Hmm.
I,
Right.
like, again, if you're genuinely doing that, cool. Like, I really liked One Battle After Another. I thought it was a great movie. Was it too heavy? Yeah, I would rather watch, a Blumhouse horror movie or, Friday the 13th Part 7 for the 20th time than watch that movie again. But it was good, don't get me wrong. But people just either want to, yeah, like we've been saying, you want to make a statement and say something. Why can't the thing you want to say just be have fun?
Right.
You
Right.
know, I loved One Battle After Another. I thought it was a great film. I loved Sinners. I thought that was a great film, very inspirational. It made me want to go work harder on my own stuff. There have been
Yeah.
a lot of movies that come out over the past couple of years that I really enjoyed, but the most fun that I have had in a theater in recent years was Naked Gun.
Oh my
I
God,
laughed so
dude.
Oh.
hard I could
Dude, the
not breathe.
snowman scene.
The
The
snowman
snowman
scene.
scene is the funniest thing I
Yep.
have seen in years.
Is so good. And you know what? That's okay.
Yeah.
It doesn't
Yeah.
need to be this big life-changing dramatic statement.
Yeah.
Let me tell you something. So, um over the past year, I've written 3 feature films.
Wow.
One of them I'm in pre-production on. I have 2 other scripts that I'm sitting on to work on next. One of them is I tried for the first time, really. I tried my hand at horror. And I got about 20 or 30 pages in, and I sent it to one of my team members to get his thoughts on it. And he came back to me after reading it, and he goes, I was having difficulty with this at first, but then I started reading this like Naked Gun. I started reading this like Leslie Nielsen, and all of a sudden, it's hilarious.
Right.
I
Okay.
wasn't even intending it to be hilarious. I was trying to go for comedy, but hearing
Wow.
that feedback made me realize 2 things. First of all, or I was trying to go for horror, not comedy.
Yeah, I
Hearing
got
that
that.
feedback, it made me realize 2 things. First of all, the script is a horror comedy, not just straight
Yep.
up horror. And second of all, everything that I do it through the lens of comedy because I decided long ago that that's my life's mission. So even when I'm not trying to, I'm still making things funny.
Well,
Yeah.
horror and comedy are first cousins. It's all about
It's true.
the build up to the laugh or the build up to a scare. And like I always like to say, a laugh and a scream sound the same in every language.
That's true. That's
That's
very true.
awesome. That's awesome. You know what? Let's talk about your Indiegogo that you have going on right now.
Is it
Hmm.
Indiegogo?
And
What crowdfunding are you
So
on?
I'm actually on a crowdfunding platform called Seed and Spark, which is
oh,
specifically only for filmmakers.
oh,
Kickstarter and Indiegogo can be for anything. You could be developing
um,
some new, product for whatever, a new shoe, and develop and get
Yeah,
funding for
yeah.
there. Seed and Spark is only for filmmakers. And so they
Mm,
tailor it specifically for that. And one of the reasons I like them so much, first of all, you got to make at least 80% of your goal to get the green light and get your funding.
Oh, wow.
okay.
Not the
Okay.
whole thing, just 80%. And secondly, they and this will go as a note to anyone who's looking to do this. um, they they've been doing this for more than a decade, so they have collected all the
Wow.
statistics and data. And when you sign up to run an account or to run a campaign, they make you take their training course on how to run a successful
Wow.
campaign first, that is based off over a decade's worth of collected statistical data. They'll break it down for you what kind of incentives you should have at what incentive levels. Things like the $25 incentive is the most common incentive, so you got to do certain things to make that one appealing. And they'll
Hmm.
break it down how to run a successful campaign. And you have to take this course before they'll even let you launch your campaign. And
Wow.
but in so doing, they have higher success rates than Indiegogo or Kickstarter. So
Wow.
I'm on Seed and Spark, and I recommend anyone who's looking to do a crowdfunding campaign, look into Seed and Spark. You'll have for your film, you'll have a better odds of success with them.
Well,
So tell
I
us more about the movie that's on
yeah.
it.
So I'm actually really, as much fun as I had with Who Dun 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 It. I'm actually really more excited about this movie that I'm working on now. It is called The Time Traveler's Checklist. It's a comedy sci-fi, and
Ooh.
it's full on comedy like I'm used to, but it's also time travel, and I'm a sucker for time travel as a storytelling device. So the movie the log line, so we have a cop from 500 years in the future comes back in time to prevent a paradox, and there's a group of civilians who get caught up and are along for the ride when they find a hole in the space-time continuum located in their bathroom.
I love this.
So the idea is that one of the characters goes into the bathroom. She's in there for like half a minute, and she comes out and it's an hour in the future, and she finds all of the other people in the living room dead.
Oh my God.
So now she knows that in an hour something's going to happen. They're all going to be dead. So she goes back
What?
into the bathroom and she comes out and it's back now and everyone's alive again. So what happens in an hour? What's going to
Wow.
happen?
She's got to figure it out.
Got to figure it
What?
out.
Now, is it done in real time? Like at that, after that point, we have an hour, or is it movie time an
Oh no,
hour?
it's movie time. We're
Oh, okay,
yeah,
okay,
no, I
okay.
have the script has been described as what would happen if you took the Circle K scene from Bill and Ted and
Love
stretched it
that.
out to a whole
Oh my
movie.
God.
It's very much movie time, and it's very much doubling back on it's the snake that eats its own tail. We're
Wow.
the time travel in it is all very meticulously planned out, but it's very much going
Timey
back and
wimey.
around and in and out
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
weaving and all the stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because
Uh,
I'm a huge nerd. I'm a huge Doctor Who fan.
I was
Back to
about
the
to say,
Future.
is it timey wimey
It's
logic?
very timey wimey.
Okay, okay, okay.
Doctor Who is another one of those things that exploded my brain in terms of imagination.
Who's
As
your favorite doctor?
oh, I love Matt Smith. I love David Tennant. I know that's a little cliche, but he's great. Peter Capaldi is great.
Yeah.
Oh man, I love all Christopher Eccleston is so underrated. I I even liked Jodie Whittaker, like all the modern Doctor.
I
Tom
didn't
Baker.
watch her, but I gotta go. My first doctor was Smith, and I
Okay.
was able to watch Baker because it's so much more accessible now.
Yeah. Yeah, Tom Baker and the earlier Doctors are a lot easier to watch. I think my favorite Doctor Who thing is Paul McGann in the '95 movie,
See,
because
I
it's
haven't
so
seen that
bad
yet.
it's good. It's delicious.
Is that with Eric Roberts as the master, or was that the...
Yeah.
Okay, okay, okay.
That's when the production company and the script changed halfway through, and so all of a
Wow.
sudden the villain goes from help me or I'll kill you to help me and I'll pay you money and stuff like it's a whole different vibe.
Earlier,
I love that movie.
we almost got a Michael Bay produced Doctor Who movie.
Oh, that hurts my soul a little bit. I don't know. I don't
I don't
know.
know. I think. Well, a side note. Who do you think would? Oh no, the answer is easy. Edgar Wright should make the Doctor Who feature film. What was I
Oh,
thinking here? That
oh,
would
I
be
love Edgar Wright. I'll watch
amazing.
anything he does, and I would absolutely love to watch an Edgar Wright Doctor Who. That would
Or
be
let him do
great.
the Christmas special at least.
Yeah, something. Yeah, a Christmas special at least. That'd be great. But yeah, uh, so I've always loved time travel. Back to the Future and anything time travel I can get my hands on. But Doctor Who opened my brain to the idea: what if you have two time travelers in the same plot? And they're traveling in different directions through time. And one of them keeps meeting the other one out of order. So when they meet the first time, it's only the first time for one of them. And the other one, they just came from seeing you, yesterday. Imagine what would happen if you have two, and then these two time travelers who are meeting out of order are married, right? Now
Oh,
they're two time travelers separately traveling through time, having a life and a relationship to themselves in completely the wrong order.
oh my gosh, dude, this
That
sounds amazing.
it does. It sounds like you're describing it. Crazy, wildly funny,
Mm-hmm.
wildly there's an attraction. When you
Mm-hmm.
talk, man, about this stuff, and I think I have a feeling, and maybe this is true, but when people direct or create and edit, they do it. They have an energy to it,
Mm-hmm.
and your energy, I think, gets transferred into the things that you make.
Yeah,
Thank
I
you. I
think, yeah,
appreciate that. Yeah.
you're
I,
welcome.
I do believe that the director sets the tone on
Yeah,
set. And
yeah,
so if you go
yeah,
on set and you're recognizing that, hey man, we're gonna make pretend all day, let's have fun,
yeah,
and let's joke around and it doesn't have to be that serious, then
yeah,
everyone's gonna have a good time. But if you
yeah,
come on set and you're yelling and screaming and you're stern and fierce, you're gonna make it very tense. And
yeah,
everybody has to be there all day, right? Nobody wants to be there.
yeah,
I wouldn't want to be there under those
yeah,
conditions.
yeah,
But the
yeah,
way I see it is we're all a team, we're all working together. We're all here with the same goal of making the best movie that we can. So let's have fun. This is the
yeah,
dream,
exactly.
man.
yeah,
The
yeah,
Yeah,
best the worst day on a film set is better than the best day anywhere else.
as an
oh,
accountant, yeah, completely,
yeah,
you know.
yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
you could be serving tables right now. You could
Yeah,
be crunching numbers. You could be whatever else. But no, you're here. You're making a movie, so let's have
yeah,
fun with it. This
and
yeah,
is the
remember,
dream.
a lot of people might be going back to waiting tables the next day. So
That's
while
true
you
too.
got
Yeah,
that chance to be an adult and to play pretend, eat every moment of that up
yeah,
like it was the
absolutely,
best meal you've ever had. And I
exactly.
like what you said because I always believe you're a director, not a dictator.
Yeah,
I like to think I have a very relaxed set. I don't put a lot of pressure. I like letting my goal is for an actor to say my character won't do that.
I
And
love that.
you
Yeah,
can ask Larry this, he's the DP on all my stuff, and he'll just go, "Hey, I have this shot here," and 9 out of 10 times I just go, "Yeah, okay, cool,
yeah,
do it,
yeah,
let's
one
go."
hundred percent.
Yeah,
Yeah, I will always listen to advice or ideas from anyone, whether they're on the project or not. So
mm,
years ago, a decade ago, oh my gosh, time be moving. I was working on a short film, the first short film that I made that got into a film festival. I didn't write it, but I was directing it and I was going to edit it. And it was a very beautiful piece. I fell in love with the script, and the producing partner was a friend of mine. So I came on board, and we were working on it. We are in production, but it was a day off, and I was hanging out with a friend of mine at his house, and I was telling him about the project, and his mother happened to be nearby. Now, my friend is not involved with the film, so needless to say, neither was his mother, but his mother overheard me telling him about the film. And the mother suggested an ending to the film.
Oh, wow.
She said that sounds like a good script. This sounds really good. I think you should end it like this. And I very
Wow.
politely said thank you for the suggestion, but we're going to keep with the ending that's in the script. And then over the course of the next 3 days, her suggestion just sat in my brain.
Mm,
And the
Wow.
more I thought about it, the more I realized she was 100% right.
mm,
Her ending is 100% better than what's in the script. And I really need to get over myself and end it
mm,
the way she suggested, because that's way better. So I
mm.
went to the guy who was producing it, who wrote the script, and I told him, yo, we need to end it like this. This needs to be the ending. And he said no. And I said, well, guess what, man? I'm directing this thing. That's going to be the ending. And that ending is what's in the film. And when he saw the completed version of the film, he said, you know what? You're right. That's a much better ending than what was
Wow.
in the script.
I
And I
gotta
think
Wow.
now
know.
the film itself is stronger because of that ending. And that's the lesson, man. You never know where the good idea is going to come from.
Yeah.
You, as the
Yeah.
director or the writer or whatever you are, you're one brain,
Yeah.
just one. You can only think just one brain's worth of thoughts, but you're surrounded by people with brains. You're surrounded by creative people who
Yeah.
all just want to make a good film just like
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
would be foolish to not at least listen to their ideas, you know. I
Yeah.
always will welcome the idea. I don't care if you're on the film, on the project or not. Tell me your ideas. I may not
Mm.
use every note that's given to me,
But
but
still,
we
yeah.
never know which note's going to be the one that makes it better.
Right. Right. Right.
But look, I
I
gotta know, how was the humble pie you got when you talked to your friend's mom?
I bet she was surprised.
She was very pleasantly surprised, and she was
Nice.
pleased, and I
Nice.
showed her the film, and she was happy about it. And there was no, I wasn't rude to her or anything. There was
Oh,
no
I know,
animosity,
obviously,
but
yeah.
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
it was a very pleasant thing to be able to go back to her and say, actually, you were right, and look at how it is, and it's much better for it. Absolutely.
I that brings up a question to come to mind, and I know I'm not crazy. We're not trying to do like a Joe Rogan 4 hour podcast, but
Yeah.
everything that you mention, you talk about is highly important because when you say you sat with the idea, just of the idea for the ending, how important is it for a director? Obviously, as a writer, I think you can write, come back to it, and kind of fiddle with it, and it kind of becomes what it is. But as a director, are you able to sit with something in real time and think about it? Or do you get on set and everything you thought you were gonna do automatically changes because of an idea that just comes to you based on what's on set?
I think it's a little of both. You absolutely have to go to set with a plan,
Hmm.
but you have to be open to that plan changing. A film, a script, a project, it's all a living thing,
Yeah, yeah,
and it could change last minute.
yeah,
You think you're ready, you think your plan is sound, and you think it's all ready, but you could get there, and for any number of things, anything from there's a problem to you just had a better idea, and everything in between, and you may be creating a whole new a shot list on the fly on the day. So I
yeah,
think it's a combination of both. And I think the mark of a good director is the one who can adapt as needed, who is prepared, who knows what they want to do and has a plan, but is able to adapt that plan as they go.
yeah. That was gonna be my next question is how 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 would people what would be your advice to somebody to say go with it as opposed to somebody who's like, no, I can't do that because I know what I want. But when it's kind of like the movie makes how it wants to make itself, right?
Yes, 100% yes. The movie already exists. You're discovering it. So let it be
Oh,
what it wants to
wow.
be. And so to those people who are saying, I know what I want, I'm going to do what I want. Okay, here's the magic of the world we live in now. You can reuse the same memory card 1,000 times. Get the
Yeah.
shot you want until you're happy with it, and then experiment with something else. And then
Mm-hmm.
try the other idea, have the option. And then when you get to post and you've got 5 different options to choose from, then make the hard decision. But then you're doing it with, you have the option. And then what you can do is you can have a test screening, right?
Mm-hmm.
You can make a rough cut with your version of whatever it is, and you can show it to people, and then you can make an alternate cut with the other idea and show it to people, and you can see what works. And
Yeah.
you may come back to your original idea being the thing you go with, and that's great. But there's also a chance that the other thing might work better.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the good captain is the one who recognizes the strength of their team
Yeah.
and doesn't
Um,
try to steer the ship themselves. You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
captain will understand a bit of all the different jobs, but doesn't make them the expert in all the different jobs.
Right.
They
Right.
There's a
Right.
reason they have the team members they have, so trust them.
Yeah. Yeah. You know,
wow.
there's a theme I think that goes, and I hear you. The theme is the team, but really, but really, you know, as you discover, I think as you become more involved in filmmaking and you know who you are and all that jazz, I think I think you really find the people that that are your team that you can depend on, that you can count on, that you can ask of things for,
Mm-hmm.
and they'll be honest, and you can be honest with them.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and oh, I forgot what I was going to say. It was going to be brilliant, but I think that's what you know when you do see Steven Spielberg or Robert Rodriguez or the Quentin Tarantinos of the world, they work with the same people, and you go, I wonder why. Now you don't have to wonder because they can count on them. They don't
Mm-hmm.
have to look over their shoulder. And then obviously, the more you work together, the more it becomes like one big giant brain
Mm-hmm.
where, hey, how'd you know this? Dude, I know what you're thinking. And you go, how do
Mm-hmm.
you, and it's just one of those things.
110,000%. If you go back and you watch the body of my work and see a lot of the things that I've made, you'll see a lot of the same actors popping up over and over again. There's one actress who I have worked with so much, she can literally read my mind. I kid you
Wow.
not. We can be on set and I'll call cut and I'll go to start giving her a note and she will adjust before I even say anything,
Wow.
and exactly what was in my head. And then I literally don't have to say it and she already knew what I was going to say. And then I call action again and she's doing exactly what I was going to say. I didn't need to. She can absolutely read my mind like that. And
Wow.
you'll see if you watch the body of my work, a lot of the same people popping up because I know I can count on them. They know they can count on me. We work well together. And the more you work with the same people, the
Yeah.
better that collaboration becomes.
Yeah.
I
Yeah. Yeah.
wholeheartedly agree with that. It goes back to find your team, find your
Yeah.
family,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
then help them. They're going to have projects too. Show
Yeah.
up and help them. And then when it's your turn, they'll come in and help you, and everybody wins.
Heck yeah, man. Heck yeah. Hey, okay. One more question
Sure,
before
sure.
we
Yeah.
start
Gotta
wrapping
wrap up.
up. Uh, how I always say this is when you're on set, it doesn't matter. And luckily, I don't think Eric we ever wanted to kill each other. But there were times where oh, I saw that look. What was that?
Remember that scene in Young Guns? Many a night I held a knife to your throat. I'm happy I didn't cut it.
Ooh, ooh, ooh.
Uh, how many times, and I don't know if because it's you make your set sound so beautiful, but are there any times where you get on set and there's not conflict, but you want to do something, and then all of a sudden it's like there becomes like not a riff, but like some kind of a thing, and you're like, okay, let's just get this thing over with. Let's just do it, and let's just finally get it done. And then in the back of your mind's like, I don't ever want to work like this again. I don't ever want to do anything like this again. I don't ever want to do it. And then all of a sudden you get it done. You get it done, you watch it, and everybody's like, man, that was so great. When do we do the next one? And you're thinking to yourself, you know what? I am ready to do the next one with you, even though, because on set, you're always,
Mm.
like it's tension. It's just tension. You're working against a time. You're working with no money. You're working with this. You're working with that. And it's human nature just to be like,
Oh
right?
yeah, yeah. There's bound to be disagreements, of
Yeah.
course. You know, you're
Yeah.
working in a creative endeavor with a bunch of creative people. Of course, there's going to be disagreements. So what you do, what I like to do, if there is a disagreement, if I'm involved with it, right, I take that person into the other room privately, and we hash it out. Tell me what's up. Tell me what you're
Yeah.
upset about.
Yeah.
Let's solve this.
Yeah.
Nobody else needs to see the
Right.
issue.
Right. Right.
As far as everybody else is concerned,
Everything.
everything's still hunky
Yeah.
dory.
Yeah.
But if
Yeah.
you got an issue, let's go to the other room so we can be alone and let's
Yeah.
work it out. And I'll
Yeah.
hear what you have to say, and then we'll find a solution. You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
and when it comes down to in the eventual situation where maybe you've got an idea for a scene, and you're pitching it to me and I've said no because I'm the director, and I thank you for telling me your idea, but I have this, I'm going to do this. I've heard you, I've listened, I'm going to turn down your idea, I'm going to do this, and you're upset that I turned down your idea. That has happened. Well, in that case, I am going to ask, I am the director. I do have a plan. I'm always open to hearing the note, but I'm not going to take every note. So respect that the director is the one who makes the decision.
Yeah.
And then when it's your turn to be director, I will show you that respect. So
Yeah.
when we're done with this and we go on work on your thing, I show you the same respect that I'm asking of you. So
Yeah.
if I come to you with an idea and you say no, even if you're only saying no out of spite, that's your right. It's your project,
Right. Right.
whatever.
Yeah.
You are then the director is the one that makes that decision.
Yep.
In any other situation, like just solve it. We're all grown ups. Let's find a solution.
Yeah.
And even if it's a compromise, whatever. That being said, there
It's
are
a
plenty
solution.
of
Yeah.
people who I won't work with again after having bad experience working with them, and you kind of
Yeah.
just roll with that as it is.
Yeah.
But that there's always going to be issues and drama and things like that, because like you said, it's human nature. You just do what you can to get through it and solve it, and if it's unsolvable, then you find some way to get through it.
Yeah. Yeah.
We're
Yeah.
not in
Yeah.
grade school here, we're all adults.
Right. Right. Yeah. I think that's when you have to really be honest with people. Is
Yeah,
is in
that's,
this
yeah, exactly
business.
right. Honest and mutual respect, I think, is the
That's a
best
big one.
way.
Yeah. Yeah.
We might
Yep.
disagree, but we are all here on the same common goal of making the
Yeah.
best film possible.
Yeah.
If you're here on a different goal, then we have a different discussion to have.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
maybe you don't need to be here, or whatever the solution is. I mean, I've had people who are part of the crew, and we're making a film or whatever it is, and they are there to just get all the glory themselves, and they want to make it all about themselves, and that's fine for what you're doing. But when it comes to a film like this with a crew of collaborative creative people, it's not about any one person, it's about the team.
Yeah.
And
I like
so
that.
there's a time and a place, and if this was a big Hollywood budget thing and you were the star that got $100 million, and this is your vehicle, then fine. But that's not what this is. This is a small indie crew who are putting in the time to make something we all care about. There's no need, no room for prima donnas on on a thing like this. Get
Yeah.
over yourself. Let's work together and make a film we can all be
Let's
proud
do
of.
it. Let's do it. Let's do it. Hey man, I've
I
already
think,
sent you my headshot for your next project. So
and
let's do
I
this,
think
baby.
There'll always be another one. There'll always be another one. Always coming.
I love it. I love it.
And
I
I
love it.
think with that is a really good way to end the episode tonight.
Yeah.
Thomas, thank you so much for coming on the show. We're gonna put the episode up ASAP so
Yeah.
that way we can get the momentum for the crowdfunding campaign.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
appreciate you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you
Yeah.
so much for saying yeah, man. And this is going to be the first of multiple episodes with you. This is going to be the beginning
This,
of a cool
yeah,
friendship and
yeah, man,
Cool.
working
yeah.
stuff. So,
Yeah, man, I'm
And
down to
Eric,
come back.
I should say that the Seed and Spark link will be in the description. I know I'm kind of taking your
yeah,
thunder, Eric, but but um uh also if you want to send over some links for cameras for people to kind of explore and go over, I think that would be a cool thing too.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, sure. I'll tell you right now. Look at Black Magic Cinema, Black Magic Design
Okay.
Oh,
cameras.
yeah.
Okay.
They make
Okay.
so, especially their Pocket Cinema camera line.
It's the best. Yeah,
It's they have a reputation for being high quality, user friendly, and affordable. You'll get a
Mm,
great camera that'll be easy to use, easy to understand, that'll give you a great image, and you'll be able to afford it.
wow.
Blackmagic Design Cinema cameras.
I
And
love it.
then, after you've looked at Blackmagic Design Cinema cameras, go check out my production company's website, easilyamusedgroup.com, where you can find a link to my feature, Who Dun 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 It, as well as the link to my Seed and Spark campaign and many other things
I
that I
love
have
it.
made
I
over the
love it.
years.
I love it. I love
sounds
it. I
great.
love it. Thank you, brother. Thank you.
Thank you guys for having me. This was a lot of fun. I'm
This was
totally
great.
down to come back.
Oh,
Awesome. I love it.
awesome. Thank
I
you
love it.
so much. And everybody, like we say each and every week, remember, support New Life Village.
Yeah.
Right?